Hello everyone, it's Professor Rich and I'm doing a video because why not? And because someone asked me in the last video if I could do a video about phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs are far from the easiest subject to address, but let's try. So the deal with phrasal verbs is there's lots of them in English and we use them a lot. And in fact, in casual conversation, that is amongst friends, colleagues, classmates, housemates, etc., then phrasal verbs tend to appear more frequently than the Latin-based or the longer verbs. So, what is a phrasal verb? Let's look at this. I'm about to cook dinner. So this is a phrasal verb, be about to, and you can see it consists of a verb and in this case a preposition. However, the definition of a phrasal verb is just a verbal phrase consisting of a verb and another element. Now, sometimes phrasal verbs appear to make sense. For example, I got on the bus at Liverpool Street and I got off at Piccadilly Square. So get on and get off seem to make sense. Get on, board, get off, disembark. Oh, right, okay, get, on, off. Okay, that makes some sense. I think I can see that. And another example, this time with the verb changing, but the other element staying the same. I'm going back to the office. I'll call you back when I get there. And this would be someone on their mobile. I'm going back to the office right now. I'll call you back when I get there. So go back is to return to a place, and call back is to return a phone call. You can also give something back, which is to return an object to the person who gave it to you. So you can see here that phrasal verbs also seem to make sense. However, phrasal verbs don't always make sense. For example, don't give up on phrasal verbs. Pick yourself up. Carry on studying. You can look at these phrasal verbs and think, what's happening here? They are very idiomatic, and it's difficult to see why pick yourself up and give up use the element up. So some phrasal verbs don't make sense. That's languages. Unfortunately, that's reality. So we have to deal with that. Another thing that we have to consider is that sometimes phrasal verbs can be separated by the object, but other times they can't. These are separable and inseparable phrasal verbs. For example, with separable phrasal verbs, you could have pick up that pen, pick that pen up, pick it up. You can't say pick up it. So with a separable phrasal verb, you can't use a direct object pronoun at the end. It must be in the middle. pick it up. Call him back, not call back him. And then we can look at an inseparable phrasal verb like bump into. I bumped into Peter today. I bumped into him. With inseparable phrasal verbs, you cannot separate the verb and the other element, ever. So you cannot say, I bumped Peter into him. I bumped Peter into today. And you cannot say, I bumped him into today. So now you're probably quite confused, which is understandable. That's the reality of phrasal verbs. Essentially, phrasal verbs need to be treated as new vocabulary. And when learning phrasal verbs, we should be aware of if they're separable or inseparable. We should be aware of if they're separable or inseparable. There are many useful lists of phrasal verbs on the internet. You can find them if you Google something like phrasal verbs B1 or phrasal verbs B2 or whatever. Maybe phrasal verbs relating to people, phrasal verbs relating to business. And it can be useful to learn phrasal verbs in this kind of context so that you're kind of learning thematically. Anyway, that's pretty much all I've got to say. I could kind of go on giving you examples of different phrasal verbs and this, that, and the other. But in reality, you can find that vocabulary on the internet. I hope this video has been of help. If you'd like me to make a specific video, then just comment below this one. Please give me a like, subscribe, and all that nonsense. Thank you very much for watching, and catch you later.